Welcome to Huckleberry's politically motivated outdoor adventures. Yeah, this one's going to get a little political. And it's really just going to be a rant because I really just hate people who don't use their brains. Now, if you don't know much about me, and I don't really talk about my politics, I'm very middle. 15 years, I grew up in a Democratic household in a Democratic inner city. And the 15 years after, I grew up in a Republican household in a Republican area, rural area. So I really honestly think I see both sides pretty well. And I do agree on both sides with certain things. I'm not in particularly a believer of Christ. I don't hate him. I don't not believe in him, but I don't believe in him solely either. Religiously, I believe that there are many gods. I think that they all have equal opportunity or equal, I don't know how to explain it, equal possibility of being a thing. I watched a show called American Gods, and it kind of based gods off of how many followers they had or believers they had. And I don't necessarily submit to that 100%, but that would make sense to me. That would make sense of why cultures kill off other cultures. How the pagan gods got silenced so badly. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. If I had to believe in a gods, I believe that there are multiple. But I'm kind of in between. I do believe in karma because I feel like I've seen karma at work. I feel like I've done something, I know I've done something bad, and then something bad happens to me, and I'm like, I deserve that. You know what I mean? So I guess this whole thing is coming back to multiple things. I'm really tired of people and illogically thinking. It just doesn't make sense to me anymore. It's gotten so bad to the point where they're missing basic things. And at this point I feel bad, but I'm just really angry we all allowed our country to get to this. I don't understand it. How are we allowing people to not understand where meat comes from? Or how are we allowing people to think that being an animal is okay? Our mental health is declining so much in this nation that people think it's okay as a lifestyle to dress up as an animal. And then that's what they want to be when they grow up is a furry. Are you fucking kidding me? Absolutely insane. And these are the people that are too afraid to I'm sorry, not these are the people, but the people who would technically regulate this were bullies in school. They used to regulate out of control fucking behavior like this. And I wasn't a bully, but I had some fucking weird tendencies that got bullied out of me. I'm fucking glad they did. I used to be this crazy emo who the Invader Zim and all that, and idolize these fucking weird people that I didn't even know who they were at the time. That shit got bullied out of me quick. I was a little receptive to it too. I was oh yeah, maybe I am a little fucked up, so I looked at it differently. But and the thing is when you're getting bullied and you also think logically and you have a brain of your own, you're kind of yeah, this isn't normal. I'm not saying anybody has to be a societal normal. You don't have to be one of the drones. I'm definitely not one of them. It's just there are things that are okay and not okay in acceptable in society. And being a furry is not okay, dude. At that point, you got issues. And you need to go to therapy and you need to figure out why you think you're an animal. And controversial. I think transgenderism is like that too. I don't think it's as severe as wanting to be an animal, but thinking you're an animal or thinking that you're a different gender when you're clearly not, that should be an issue. I know people who consider themselves transgender or not even one of the two main genders, and I have nothing but love for them. But I also think that they need help. Not in a poor you, you're so fucking insane, but I genuinely, as someone who battles mental illness in a lot of different ways, and in a way, I feel like I can recognize when someone else has an issue that they need to work with. And this identity issue, dude, not knowing what you are, that's a massive issue, man. If you're a man and you honestly think you were a woman, what's going on? Why? What caused that? Because in typical households with healthy families, that doesn't happen as much. So what happened in your family? What happened in your life made you feel that way? Were you gay? I don't know. Like, I have no problem with gay people. I love a good gay guy that isn't crazy flamboyant about it. It's the ones that are crazy flamboyant and in your face about it all the time that you're like, all right, I get it. You're like your new shiny car. Like, you want to talk about it. You're happy that you're gay. Like, I don't run around and say, I'm happy that I'm straight. Like, yeah, nobody cares. So, like, I don't care that you're gay. I don't. But I don't want you going around flaunting like, hey, like, I'm gay. Cool. Nobody cares. You don't get special treatment anymore. You're gay. You're just a normal person. like you got your rights, you got your marriages, and now you're normal. You don't get to flaunt it anymore. We don't get to flaunt that we're straight anymore. You don't get to flaunt that you're gay anymore. Just be it and live your life. But like, transgender is like, how? Like, logically, how do you think that there can be more than two genders, dude? You have a penis or you have a vagina? Very, very simple. Very, very simple. Oh, well, people's minds have been fucked up for a long time. Like, there are illnesses that are still being discovered. There are mental illnesses that are being rediscovered. People's minds have been proven to not be a reputable source of information sometimes. Like, you can't say that you feel a certain way and just go, yep, that's true. There are schizophrenics. There are people who see shit like schizophrenics. There are people who think they're mediums. They could be, or they could be schizophrenic. There are people who think one thing, but they have a different personality that thinks another thing. So what is it? Do you have like border personality disorder? Like, some days you think you're a girl, some days you think you're a guy, like, or you always feel like a guy. There's something underlying going there. And just because we don't understand it doesn't mean that it's like acceptable, right? Like, and when you have something as confusing as the human mind to work with, as many things as we don't understand about it, you have to go back to the basics of like biology. And I'm no major, but the basics of biology say that you're either male or female. Now, yes, you can go into different, subclasses. I'm sure you could try to serve me up some kind of cool knowledge like, oh, actually, but no, I mean, that's the basics of it. You're male or you're female. Do you have a penis? Do you have a vagina? Or were you born with both? That's a special case. That's different. But then to think that you're something else and then to push that onto other people that it's acceptable, it's not acceptable. And then now we have completely accepted that transgenderism is a thing that is now invaded into our sports, into our children. All our children see it and think, oh, that's okay now. No, that mental health disorder is not okay. They need to go to therapy. They need to work out why they feel like that. There are plenty of reformed transgender people who have said that was the worst thing that ever happened to me. Like, that's the worst thing that I've done to myself. And letting them like change their body parts while they're in a mental state like that, dude, horrible fucking idea. That's like giving a suicidal person a gun. Like, genuinely, you give someone who hates that they're male, thinks that they're female, has that mental disorder, and you tell them that there is a surgeon on standby ready for them to make them a woman, their fucking bias, whatever their mind is telling them at the moment is gonna win. And then when they grow out of that fucking disillusioned like mindset that they're a different gender, they're gonna realize that they fucked up, that their dick's gone. Like, there's nothing they can do about it. Like, and I'm not saying that they are like poison devils or anything, but I'm saying that they genuinely, it's a mental health issue. Like, and I think they need to be helped. I really like, it's not a Christianity sympathy thing. It's someone who has mental health issues himself that can understand and see when other people are going through mental health and identity crisis issues. Like, it's all it is an identity crisis. I had that many times growing up. I didn't know what I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Sometimes I still don't know what I want to do. All I know is I want to go travel. That's why I made Huckleberry's Adventures and why I take my son out, because I want him to have a better life than I did. But like, I also want to make sure he knows what he is and can logically think for himself. Now, if my son's prefrontal cortex is fully developed and he still thinks that he wants to be a woman, yeah, that's a bridge that I'm going to have to cross when I get to it, buddy, because I don't think in any way the way that I'll raise my son, and I'm not going to raise my son as like some racist bigot, but like I'm going to raise him to think critically and to challenge these ideas with facts and with logic. And I want him to come to his own conclusion. And if he still somehow comes to his own conclusion that it's a thing, then you know what? I disagree with him, but I still love him, you know? Like, I don't have hate towards transgender people or gay people. I absolutely love them. But I do think, I think gay is completely acceptable, by the way. I think that that's completely okay to be attracted to the other sex. I don't think there's any mental issue with that you just were born attracted to another sex. I think, and there are some gay people who can agree with this too, but like, I think the issue is when you think you're something else. Like, there are transgender people, like male to female, right? Male have a dick to female who like males. Okay, you're just gay then. Like, why go through all the extra steps, bro? Like, if you like gay, like if you like dudes, just like dudes. You don't have to be, like, you don't have to tuck your dick and take it in the ass and say, yep, I'm a woman. No, you're not. You're just gay. And nobody's just, like, shaming you for that now. We're all really accepting of gay people. But, like, pretending you're something else, like cosplaying, even, you know what? Even cross-dressers, they still knew that they were men, right? Like, I don't even necessarily have a problem with cross-dressers. Because cross-dressers knew that they were dudes. It was something fun. It was a way to release. People enjoyed it, like, seeing it. It was kind of like an oddity thing. But at the end of the day, they knew they were dudes. Like, they talked with normal dude accents or very poor, like female accents. And, like, they knew at the end of the day, they'd get undressed, they'd take all their caked on makeup on, put their suit on, and go to work. Like, it was just a way for them to unwind. Like, but now, dude, people think it's like, it's a real thing. Like, I don't get it, dude. Doesn't mean I'm right. Like, if they come out with some, like, scientifical factoid about how transgenderism is a real thing, I don't know. I'd still have to, you know, I do have some bias on this that I really don't think that it is. And I think the people who perpetuate it are just as mentally fucked up. But again, mental illness is the biggest issue in America right now. It's like a victim mentalities, man. It's like impoverished ghetto neighborhoods blaming everything on everything except themselves. I'm going to use black people as an example here because they are obviously the best example I can use. It's like there's a TikTok video. Her cousin gets shot, or her boy gets shot or something because he was robbing a house, and guy gets shot or arrested. I don't even remember. And she goes, well, what else is he supposed to do? Like, he's got to get money for school. Like, this is how people get money from this area. Like, bro, get a fucking job. It's the lack of accountability. Like, and that's a mental illness too. Like, I don't know where we're all getting this. Like, I don't think race is an issue. Like, because I think fundamentally, black, white, Asian, like, we're different looking because we come from different regions. Like, our bodies had to obviously climatize for that reason. So I don't really think it's like a race thing, but I think it's a mental health thing. People have been allowed too long to be the victim. You know what? A lot of the black people who move out of the ghetto, who move into rural communities, who see that, like, there isn't a racist system trying to, like, set them up. It's just a mindset that they were raised to think of. Like, because I thought that too. Like, I thought there was, like, people against black people. Like, I moved out in the country. We had black people in my high school. One family of them. And guess who were some of the most successful ones? Those black people. I mean, they had a family, they had a father, they had more than I had going for them. So, like, it's not a race thing. And guess what? Those people were treated very well. Nobody was racist towards them. Not even a bit. So, like, it really is at that point in your head. And when you keep, you know, cycling it through your head and into your next generation, it becomes like a known fact. It's like, if you ask any American what Canadians' favorite leaf is, they say the maple leaf. Why do we know that? Because we learned it from other people. They told us, like, stupid like analogy, but like it's just one of those things. It's like, it's been perpetuated for so long that now it's like a mindset. Like, victimhood is a mindset. Like, oh no, it's not our fault. The system rigged it. Dude, plenty of black people more successful than I am. I was raised in the same fucking place they were. Raised in the same house. Next door neighbors were black. I don't get it. I didn't have a white privilege. I really did not have any more privilege than anybody else. I was jumped for being white, but that was because of the uneducation. Like, I don't blame those people. I mean, like, they jumped me because they said my grandparents were slave owners. That was as an older person now, I obviously understand that was some narrative pushed down by why you shouldn't like white people. That still gets pushed now. Like, yeah, some white people aren't great, but neither are some black people. So it's that victim mentality. It's someone owes me. It's not my fault. Well, this was done to me, and this is why I'm why I am. No, sorry, buddy. I don't know. Like, and then the lack of accountability, but then also the lack of wanting to work and get yourself out of it. Like, oh, well, this is what happened to us, but I'm not going to do anything about it. What am I going to do? I'm going to get really mad. I'm going to break businesses. I don't know, man. Why don't you just, like, set up a brothers and sisters program? Or, like, if gangs really wanted to make the world better, these gangs could help police these neighborhoods and make them safe, right? Like, what happened to doing that? What happened to communities protecting communities, raising each other up? Like, what happened to, like, people feeling safe being on the streets? You see, like, Trump put those troops down in Washington, right? And there's people interviewing black people, and they're like, I've never felt safer. Like, this is great. Streets are clean. I never felt better. And then there are the whole other side of people where they're like, oh my God, this is a complete infringement on our freedoms. Like, dude, at some point you have to say enough is enough. Like, fuck. Like, at what point are we just going to start taking these fucking gangs out? Like, why are we allowing gangs? Why is that allowed? Why the fuck aren't we cracking down on those like crazy? Like, we're too scared because of the public eye and the news and the media. Like, no, dude. Fucking start taking these things out, dude. Gangs shouldn't be a thing. Like, and we have so many in the ghettos and this and that. If we fucked these gangs up, like, as a country, if we all got together, chased these fucking gangs out, chased the drugs out of our streets, chased all this shit out, policed our own streets. I'm not saying take the law into your own hands, but I am saying that if you see something wrong, fucking do something about it. Like, if you see someone gangbanging on the corner, get them out of there. If they start shooting at you, stand your ground. If you're scared that you'll die because of that, bring more people. I'm not saying be racist. I'm saying if that's a well-known drug spot and they're out there handing coke to kids that don't have the brain ability or, you know, the processing power to really understand what they're going to fuck up the rest of their lives, like, get those fucking guys out of there. Hot take, kill any serious pedophile. Serious offense. I'm not talking like Romeo Juliet offenses. Like, it's obviously needs to be, you know, but like 37-year-old dude, like, raping a baby, dead. Like, they're going to do it in jail anyway once they find out. Nope, kill him. Don't waste the taxpayers' money on a life sentence. Anybody who's sentenced to life and is undoubtedly proven guilty, dead. At this point, you're not killing people, you're killing monsters. If you can't adhere to society rules and you're murdering whole families, butchering them, and the evidence is very clear, there, you know, you're on camera, your fingerprints are all over the crime scene, you did not try to hide it at all, dead. Get them out of here. Make it quick. I don't want to hear your stupid sentencing fucking boom and over and appeal and over. Just do it. Firing, you could choose. Firing squad, electric chair, poison, whatever. But get it done. I'm over it, dude. Get these fucking people out of here. They're wasting our money. Life sentence. They're wasting the money in our fucking prisons. Like, save the life sentence for the guy who accidentally killed a family driving. Yep, that's a life sentence. Does he deserve to be murdered? No. Not a monster. He made a really bad decision. He's going to have to own up for that. Monsters get put down, right? If you raped and then murdered a family and you're undeniably guilty, the evidence is there. See ya, dude. Stop wasting our fucking time. You don't deserve to be in the same country. You don't deserve to have the same rights, because at that point you're a monster. You're not a human. You don't get those rights. You get exterminated. We have no place in this country for monsters. And that follows for anybody who is on that list, if you were on the list exploiting any of these people, these girls, any of the bad deeds, you're on the same boat. I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Biden. I don't care if it's Kennedy. I don't care if it's whoever. It could be Mr. Rogers or Bob Ross or Steve Irwin, you know, my three saviors, you know. It doesn't matter, because at that point you're a monster and you need to be taken out. You need to be wipe this world before you spread that fucking disease around. Ugh, it's fucking disgusting. We need to stop and start and address the mental health. Address accountability, man. Take some fucking accountability. Mental health, the biggest fucking killer in the U.S. Honestly, I think you are mentally unhealthy if you think drinking alcohol and driving is a good idea. You are mentally unfit to drink if you can't make that decision. Oh, I want to get home. Well, there's plenty of ways to get home. Sleep in your fucking car. Stop making stupid decisions. Guess what? I don't feel bad for you if you run into a family and kill them. And, oh, I'm still young. I'm so young. Well, yeah, that family had a lot to life to live too. Like, let's make excuses for murderers. No. Charlie Kirk's murder? No. Charlie Kirk, dude, was not a bad guy. You're going to hear it from right people all the time, but it's right. Like, everything that was said about him was taking 99.9% out of context, without listening to the whole conversation, without understanding, like, when you debate people, you get forced into positions and you have to keep your position. Like, it's like that one where he argues that girl about, like, what if his 10-year-old gets raped? And are you going to force her to have the baby? Yes, I am. Well, that's fucking disgusting. Like, he tried to explain that, hey, like, that's an extremely improbable situation. No, it's not. It happens all the time. Where the fuck does that happen all the time? Because if that happens all the time, we need to start killing those fucking people, right? Do I agree that if I had a daughter and she was raped at 10, it's hard to think about, but, like, do I agree that I would let her have that baby? That's hard, dude. I know people who have aborted kids at a young age that has mentally fucked them up the rest of their life because they know they killed their child. At 10, you're going to know that. Like, you've been raped. You've already been introduced to how shitty this world can be. So, like, when you're older, I don't know, man, you're going to grow up with that, you know, mindset. Like, yeah, you killed something. I guess I would honestly leave it up to my daughter. If she felt like... Now, if she decided to keep that child, she would not be raising that alone, right? Like, if it was my daughter, I understand the burden that would have on, like, a 10-year-old. I genuinely feel like if she decided to keep that kid, I would help raise it. My family, you know, aunts, uncles, everyone would help raise it. That's just a fucking really tough situation, man. And at the end of the day, I want her to understand that I respect her. But she's too young. Like, at the same time, like, I want her to make that decision, but I don't know. Like, I also want her to have someone to blame if it wasn't the right decision. Either way, I wouldn't want her to blame herself. Does that make sense? Like if she had a child and she's a really bad postpartum and doesn't want it, I don't know. I would take care of it. I don't know. Like, if she didn't want the child, then that's fine. She could give it away. The child does not have to know it was born from that. I don't know. I think I would let her... I would push her to have the baby, but I would not force her to have it. It would be her decision. I want her to understand what she's doing, though. Like, you are killing something. This goes against your beliefs as a 10-year-old girl, probably, to kill something. But that's the thing. It's like, so Charlie, in the middle of the debate, is forced into making this decision in the heat of the moment on camera. Like, that's hard. I'm going to open my can of Monster here. Ready? So, I mean, what do you do when people bring up really hypothetical, illogical arguments? Like, is that your argument for why Charlie was bad? Because he was placed in such, like, a horrible fucking position and had to make a decision on whether he's going to stick with his beliefs or agree to killing children again. Like, because you understand that they're two severes, like, and he's said before, like, okay, well, what would get you to change your mind? Would it be if we only had special cases for rape or incest? Because he said that. he has mentioned that he would be okay with that for special cases like rape and incest. The issue is that people are killing babies like they pop fucking Tylenol in the morning before work. That's the issue. And that we've societally made that okay. I'm not even a believer in God. Like, I believe that there are many gods. I'm pagan, actually, if you were to put that into, if you had to put me into a category. So, do I think that the Bible does help teach a decent morality code? In a way, yeah. It depends on who's teaching it. But I also think that killing babies is not okay. And if you're doing it for stupid reasons, as in if you're doing it because you can't close your fucking legs or use protection, then that's a mental health issue because you don't understand the actions or like your actions have consequences. Why are you fucking men over and over and over going to clubs? Why are we promoting that nightlife, by the way? But like, why are we doing that? And then saying, oh, that's okay that you fucked up. Here, control, delete, get rid of that. It's not that easy. A lot of women have lasting side effects to killing their children like that. And the thing is women aren't meant to lose their children like that either. That is never, I mean, the emotional bond that you connect, whether you want to or not, it's a real thing. As a man, like, for me, I think biologically, it's harder for a man to connect with a baby that he's not a part of. I think everybody can accept that, right? So, like, as a man, we would be more, I don't know, how would you say, like, eat the young? We would be more okay with the baby being aborted than a woman, I think, in some ways. I personally would not, but like as biologically, because we're not growing that human, it's easier to just say, no, I don't want it. And I think women have adopted that in a way. Like, even though it's growing inside of them, they're just like, nah, I don't want it. And they're just like cool with that. And it's like, dude, that's a person. Like, that's a clump of cells is still a person. Like, if it has the intention of growing into something, like, do we kill caterpillars, before they turn into butterflies, but they're not caterpillars? We don't, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you know what they're gonna be. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're a clump of cells. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's like, you know what they're gonna be. So you're killing that. You're killing off the possibility of that thing. You're killing the future. And as someone who's Christian, I can see how that would be just, like, horrible. That thing has been brought here, and this is in their eyes. Like, they could be brought here by God to live their life, and we have allowed it to be constitutionally cool to kill them before they even get to live their life, to end them before they even had a chance to be a good person, to make incredible accomplishments, to have a family, to be happy, to know what love is. They never get to even know what love is. That's crazy that people are okay with that. That they're just, boop, you could shut down that mentality and be like, yep, I don't care that being has never felt love and will never feel it. It was brought into this world, and because I can't close my legs, I'm going to take it out because I'm not ready. What the fuck? No accountability. And that's a mental issue. That's a mental issue. You need to seek therapy. I think anybody who does an abortion should legally have to get therapy after. One, to deal with the fact that they just killed something. But two, to figure out what the fuck is wrong that they think that's okay. That they think that that's acceptable behavior. Rape and incest. And even then, it should be under viability. I think you're a sick fucking human if you kill a child after it's viable. That's sick. Like, why would you wait that long? You didn't know? That sucks. Now you know. It's got fingernails. It's got a heartbeat. It kicks. It thinks. What are you doing, dude? It's fucking sick. That's a mental issue. That's what I'm trying to get with. It's like, so that's all, like, and to disagree with somebody over that so much that you'd kill them, that's a mental issue. That's what I'm saying. School shooters, a mental issue. Your accountability and victim mentality is a mental issue, obviously. Plenty of black people who are very successful, who are very intelligent, very logical thinkers who agree with me on this. Like, it's not some weird, crazy theory. There are a lot of science and facts to back this stuff up too, that like mental issues and the way that you get to think are becoming like the worst, will be America's eventual undoing. I think that's why so many people are okay with Trump, is because he's okay to just say what he says, like to say what he feels. Whether it's right or wrong, at least he says it. And I think they just want someone who's straight, who says shit, who doesn't ask what their advisors think he should say before he said, like, he just fucking says it. Whether it's right or wrong, like, I don't love the guy. Definitely not MAGA, but it's like, I think that's the appeal that he brought to win. He said that he was going to stop the bullshit. He was going to unveil the secrets. He was sick of it. And I think he brought that appeal, and that's why people voted for him. I don't think he's done that well yet. I think he's tried, but it's hard right now because the media has tried to cover everything up on both sides for everything. Media, like our freedom of speech, like I'm getting to a point to where I was a big constitutional guy. Like I do think we should follow those very, very hardly. But like you get to a point to where you start to realize that media is your worst enemy and that the freedom of speech isn't like, it starts to poison other people's minds because it's being used in a way they never thought it was going to be used when they wrote that Constitution. It's being used on phones that they never had an inkling of how easy things spread. Ideas get pushed on the media that just get spread everywhere. It's crazy. So I don't know. Why are we allowing this to continue? Is it going to cause a civil war? Do we need to have a civil war? I'd like to hear people's response on this. Part of me thinks the freedom of speech, I know this is a super hot take, but part of me thinks the freedom of speech should be somewhat regulated. That's a part of me. The other part of me is like, no, fuck that. It's there for a reason because we need to be able to speak out against this stuff. And I wholeheartedly agree. But when you have media like this that just spit random shit out with no backing, and you don't have a people who can do their own research and fact check this stuff and just believe what they hear. And this is on both sides, dude. This is not just a leftist thing, although it happens a lot on the left. But this is like the hardcore MAGAs, the hardcore leftists, the hardcore liberals that just believe what they hear by their own, like by the own media sources that are pushing it. It's like the Charlie Kirk contexts. Like you hear that a lot. Like he was taken out of context. He was massively taken out of context. He was not a bad guy. He had his own ideas. You didn't have to agree with him, but he was not a bad person. He was not a Nazi, not a bigot. He employed black people in impoverished communities. Like he paid for a black man's plane ticket to come join him at a debate. If he was racist, he would not be paying people to do that. He would not be paying people to go into these communities and spread, his belief of God and that fathers need to be back into the households. Like his best friend, was Candace Owens, and right now she's getting a lot of hate too. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, man, this is where freedom of speech gets dangerous because now everybody's twisting words into what they want it to be to fit their narrative. And it's like, just like look up the facts, but people don't want to, dude. They just listen to whatever they want to. And there's plenty of sources. Like I don't think freedom of speech should be taken away. I don't. I think news outlets should have to be factual, 100% factual, or they get shut down. I don't think that they should be allowed to post like clips of people talking, but only the context that they wanted to. That's the issue, because that's what forms the divide between our people. It's like, I don't think there should be a Fox News that's Republican. I don't think there should be NBC that's Democrat. I don't think that should be a thing because that just keeps the divide in our country. And they will continue to push that divide because they're going to continue to push things in whatever narrative they want. Like if you look at Fox News and what's important to them versus ABC or Good Morning America or The View, which is fucking horribly, The View, I don't even care what you are. If you like The View, like fucking unadd me, dude. They're fucking ignorant. It's got nothing to do with their race, obviously. It's just the ignorant fucking speaking on theirs who have been proven to be fucking false multiple times. So it's like, why are we letting the media, which everybody consumes daily, why are we letting them speak not facts? Like and yeah, I mean, then of course you're controlling freedom of speech to a point, but like the media should be separated from that, right? Like individual people, influencers, this and that, they're not media, right? But if you're going to be media, if you're going to be a news station that is supposed to be telling people and informing people of what's happening, you should not be able to twist those to fit your narrative. You shouldn't. It should be completely factual. Fox News and ABC and CNN, they should all be saying the same fucking thing. They should be spitting the facts. They should be saying, this is what's happening. This is why it's happening. They should not be saying, it's the left's fault. It's the right's fault. It's this person's fault. And I think that because the media is the way it is, that it continues to push that divide. It keeps us divided. It keeps us fighting. And that's exactly what people in power want. Because if we realize that this government is tyrannical, not saying it is, not saying it isn't, but if we all realize that together, we're very dangerous, right? If the left stops trying to blame it on inanimate objects, like guns, stupid fucking argument. But like if you stop blaming it on guns and just start thinking, yeah, it is a mental health epidemic. Like why do these people think that it's okay to come kill other innocent people? It's not like they're going in, like, look, it's not like they're going into a pedophiles anonymous meeting and killing all the pedophiles in it. They're going to churches of places that just have different beliefs in them. Or they might be going into a mosque. They might be going into places with innocent people that may or may not have the same views as them. Who knows? And they're just killing. They're going into schools, killing. And it's like, how is that not a mental health issue? How is that a gun issue? Well, it's because and here's the argument. It's like, because we allow guns to be so accessible that they're easy for these mentally deranged, and those bold italics, mentally deranged individuals to get their hands on. If you regulated guns, they'd have knives, they'd have machetes, they'd figure out another way, they'd have bombs, they make bombs. It's easy to make a bomb. Not saying you should, not saying you should look it up. Don't put me on a watch list. I'm just saying it's not hard to find other creative ways to cause mass casualty events. So why wouldn't you want, and this is the narrative that I think that's being pushed, but like, why would you want the U.S. citizens to have less arms to defend themselves against a tyrannical government? Why would you want them to have that? The only reason that I could logically think is that there is a narrative being pushed to get rid of guns so that we can't fight back. That when we finally become unified, when we're finally unified, that we can't fight back the government that already has their claws too far. Like, do I think America is great? Absolutely. Do I think if we continue to let the media do what they do, continue to let politicians do what they do, and continue the cycle, do I think America can turn into something bad? Yes. And I think that that's being pushed. I think guns are the first step. Once we take away guns from everybody, at that point, they're free to do what they want without any consequences. I'm not saying killing political leaders is okay, but do you think that other political leaders saw that and went, maybe I should say, oh, watch what I say, watch what I do a little bit. Maybe they thought twice about signing that bill that actually didn't have the best interest of people in mind, right? I'm not saying that killing people is okay, because it's not. Killing people is not okay. It's not the right way to go about it. But when your government becomes evil, I don't believe America has. I believe people think it has because they have known nothing worse. You know what I mean? But I think when people think that their government's evil, I think that's why we have arms, right? We need to be able to overthrow that government. Has the government done things that have not been great? Absolutely. U.S. is not innocent. Overall, for what the idea and the soul of the country is it good? Yes. Are there people living in poverty? Yes. Is it third world country poverty? No. Yes, there are isolated areas, but overall, no. So, and people who have never had to actually struggle before, they don't understand that. So you have the media pushing them, people who have never known struggle, to get mad about things that they have no reason to be mad about. So, I don't know, man. I know this has been like a crazy rant, and I have ADHD, so it's probably all over. In my mind, it makes sense, but like, I wanted to talk about it and rant about the mental health issue in America, and at the end of the day, this is where I sit. Charlie Kirk was not a bad guy. I don't think he had horrible beliefs. I don't think he was a Nazi. I think people don't agree with him. And we've gotten too used to calling each other extremist names because we've fallen into such a wide array of people because of media, because of us letting mental health disorders go unchecked. And we've gotten to a spot to where now we're just being lied to constantly, where they're pushing our rights away. And we get rid of guns, we're done, dude. We're fucked. That's why we're holding on to this 2A thing so hardly, is because the people that know it know it. Once you get rid of the weapon we use to equalize, that's the thing, is it's an equalizer. You got to think of America as the government as, here's an analogy for this. Like, think of the American government as 5 average to strong male individuals. And think of the government's people as a 5-foot, 100-pound girl walking down the street at night. Now, those 5 male individuals, they might be up to no good. They might be fine, but they're walking behind this girl. That girl should always, anybody should have situational awareness of what's going on, right? And she should know the 5 dudes in the middle of the night walking behind her, a couple, 10 feet so behind her, probably not good, right? If she has no guns and it gets to a confrontational point to where she's worried for her life, she needs to fight these guys back, she won't be able to. It's very simple. There's no way. Let's be real. 5 dudes of average or more strength can can overpower a typical woman already, but make it maybe a smaller, more petite woman. Oh, dude, there's no chance. And that's the same thing with the government. And this is also a real argument for 2A on both sides, right? For the woman herself, but also against the government. If those 5 dudes are the government and that girl is us as a population of civilians or citizens, if we had a gun, that is our equalizer. That makes those 5 dudes think again. That also, if they do decide to do something like attack us, right? So if we are the girl, if that government does decide to attack us and completely, try to kill me, my handgun or my gun is the equalizer. 5 guys against a semi-automatic 9mm with 18 rounds, not going to do well. They're going to get fucked up. That's an equalizer. That made that 100-pound girl just as dangerous as they are, which she could go home that night. Her life was saved because she was prepared. She hopes she never has to use it, just like we hope we never have to use it against our own government. But it's an equalizer. It's the same thing as everybody having nukes. Unfortunately, the technology's there. And yeah, you really hope that everybody was evolved enough to not have to use them. But mutual assured destruction is pretty much why we don't do them, why we don't use them. Right? It's kind of the same thing with guns. It's any weapon, right? Like Japan, a lot of people carried swords. Or in the kingdoms, sorry, my brain's going crazy, but in medieval times, everybody had a weapon, or everybody had a sword, everybody had a way to protect themselves, typically. I mean, we're not talking about peasants here, but the general population had a way to protect themselves. And had a way to fight against the government, whether it was pitchforks, if we had muskets. It's like, if the government regulates us and says that little girl, aka us, cannot carry a gun because it's irresponsible, because they kill other people. Yeah, that's the point. We're supposed to be able to fight against that. What we need is the mental health issue to be cleared up, so you don't have a girl who is out there killing random people for no reason, right? That's my rant. Again, mental health is super important. If you're struggling to see someone, I have very bad depression, really bad ADHD, and my therapy is going outside, being around other people, and a lot of the other people struggle with the same thing as I do. and that's been a help for me. But have also gotten help. I've also helped myself by looking into what's going on and how I actually feel. And I'm honest with myself, and people need to get this fixed. Our government has to make this fixed. We can't keep letting them overreach and make laws that are effectively handcuffing the citizens to not let things happen. We can't let our media control us. We need to fact check. We need to stop letting ourselves get poisoned. We need to stop letting ourselves get mentally fucked up by the many combination of whether the government, the people, our families. We can't let people fuck us up because, dude, eventually everybody's going to be fucked up. Eventually we're going to run into a civil war, and eventually I can tell you which one's going to live, and I really don't want to be on the wrong side of history. At the end of the day, I think the issue that Americans have right now is that they're split into two different countries. There's like it's good. We're on the brink of a civil war, and we're on the brink of a civil war to weaken the American people. And I think that's all part of the plan. Hate to be too conspiracy into this, but the media is playing it out just fine. You know, the media is doing exactly what they have to make sure that we stay divided. I think that it's absolutely horrible what happened to Charlie Kirk. I think that he was a good person. I don't think he deserved to die for having a different view. And I think the media has made it into being so like crazy for someone to just have religious beliefs. Like, I already know like this would be an issue if it was a non-Christian belief too. Like the right would, if it was like, I don't know, like if it was a Muslim that did this because they don't believe in Christian values, like this would be abhorrent. This would be an issue. But like, I honestly think that this was designed by another country. I won't name what country. Do some research to what everyone else is saying. I think Candace is onto something. I think that there is more at play. I think that if the FBI really wanted to be transparent and they had all the evidence and all the surveillance video, they could release it. If they really wanted to prove us wrong, right? They really wanted to say that this was just a Democrat extremist group, which I think it was. I don't think it was Republican. I've seen many people that were raised Democrat turn out Republican. I honestly think that this was a child who was taken advantage of. He got into this group because he did believe that there was something wrong. And that's not necessarily a problem, right? Like, we all kind of group into others that agree with us. I think the issue is that there was some outer force that pushed him into making this action. And I think that outer force was engineered by another country. That's what I think. I think that somebody did this on purpose. I think somebody was getting close to unveiling truths, and I think that was dangerous. And I think people don't like that. And I rarely put this on my on my platform, anything political, but I feel like someone needs to say something. And I really try to stay out of the political spectrum because I don't want people to think differently of me because I believe differently. Like, I want to love other people. I want them to love me back. I want us all to share love for mankind and one love for each other. I don't want us to kill each other for different beliefs. I don't believe that Muslims have a lot of great, ideologies and belief systems, but I would never want to kill one over it, I do think, though, that I think that this was engineered. And the more digging I do to this, the more I think that the original perpetrators that bombed two towers on 9/11, I think that they're the same country involved. The more digging and the more research you guys do into this, the more you might be surprised to figure out who was really involved. And I think they have a really big hand in our government. I think that we really have something to lose. And America might be too far gone, Too far gone, not in the sense of our people being divided, because we can always come back from that, I think. But I think we might be controlled too much by other outside forces. Partly because of like the capitalism, the greed, it's people want money and they'll do anything to get it. They'll do anything to get the money, the power. And I think there's some things that, Epstein stuff, like, I don't know, man, Charlie was getting into shit. He was starting to question stuff again. He stopped for a while. I genuinely believe that was because there was a threat. And then he eventually chose to ignore said threat and to try to expose the truth. And I think that's what ended up getting him killed. I don't think it was purely based off of hate, off of, Democrat versus Republican. I think that they used a Democrat as a tool, and it was a perfect scapegoat because, yeah, why Democrats have always done that, historically, not really, but like, it's like, man, what are we supposed to believe? What's going on? I don't know. I don't know how else I can put this without like straight up saying the country. And really, I'm not a big platform, but if this ever got traction, I don't want to be the person to point it out, right? Yeah, it's a mental health issue. It's a narrative issue. It's a controlling the public issue. And it's an issue that continues to divide us when we need to be nothing more but unified right now. We need to keep our guns. We're watching our rights being taken away. We're watching our country being overrun day by day. We're watching all of this happen, and we're blind to it almost. A lot of people are, and yet somehow we have people that still think this, like their mind has been poisoned or they've been brainwashed, like actually brainwashed. Like, look how people conduct brainwashing. You surround yourself in a life where everybody tells you the same thing. Nobody challenges your narrative. Nobody challenges the way that you think because you all live in the same area and you all think the same. And I think that's part of the plan. I think that's the divide. I think rural people feel the same way than Democrats. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I think rural people feel the same way because they're in rural areas, and Democrats feel the same way because they're in Democrat areas on average. I think if they switched places, I think one side would see a little bit more than the other. I just don't know, man. It's sad. It's sad to watch the country that you have a lot of pride in that's done a lot. That is a really great country. It's sad watching it go to shit on things you can't necessarily control, right? Like, I wish I could go to my next door neighbor or something and say, hey, this is what's actually going on. You can't let this happen. But they won't even talk to me because I'm not a registered Democrat, and I don't love Kamala. I'm not like a Kamala cuck, and I'm not like a Trump cuck either. I'm definitely not MAGA, but it's like, but we have to be real and logical here. And I honestly think 80% of the American public has lost their critical thinking skills. They lost the ways to cite things. They're using AI to overview debates. They're using AI to do this, do that. It's kind of like when we started using calculators and the internet for definitions and calculations instead of doing it ourselves. We got lazy. We're so used to things being done for us that we forget that we can do them ourselves. We've gotten reliant on other people doing it for us. We've gotten reliant on the media just telling us what we think is true when they've been manipulating the real story the whole time. We're so lazy, the Americans. I mean, in other ways we're not, but like as a civilization, just as a human civilization in general, we've gotten so lazy, so complacent with how, a first world society runs. So bored that we're picking apart gene commercials like they're the bigger picture here. Like that's the shit that troubles me. Like we're like when Charlie Kirk got shot. Yeah, you heard every other Democrat talking about Gaza and this and that. But when the gene commercial scandal came out, oh my God. Nobody was talking about Gaza then. Nobody was saying, hey, this is a commercial. There's more important shit going on right now. Nope, everybody was concerned with the commercial. It was pushing some racist narrative. No, that's what the media wants you to think. That's the softness that you've acquired over the years. That's what happens when people start regulating and canceling others for saying things, freedom, speech, That's what happens, man. It's like when Carlos Mencia got canceled. You remember that shit? He was racist against everybody. He was a comedian. He was allowed to be, right? No, canceled. Like, oh my God, dude, why are we canceling people for just talking, for just being comedians, for saying funny shit? Like, God damn. Who knows? I've been ranting a while. Nobody's really going to listen to this anyway, so I'm gonna end it and eventually release it. It's just my rant. Like, I'm sure there are other people that agree with me. It's just like, dude, it's the mental health thing. That's what I'm seeing over and over and over. And it's like, and nobody's like addressing this. Nobody sees the bigger picture here with like mental health, and maybe there is some shit going on in our water. Maybe the fluoride is impacting our IQs. Maybe there is an issue with throwing red 40 in our foods. Maybe there's an issue with throwing a bunch of highly processed chemicals into our foods, and long-term exposure over the years of lead have led to cognitive functions being so fucking low that we just turned into sheep. I don't know. People aren't talking about this as much as they should be. People aren't addressing this issue like they should be. Instead, they're saying people like ROK at Brainworms, honestly, at least he's fucking trying. He might be a little fucking crazy, but I don't think he's off base. I think that there are fucking microplastics and chemicals and lead. I think that is long-term effects of any of that shit. Genetically, dude, it cannot be good for you. It's got to be doing something, and there's no real super long-term evidence of like the difference between that genetically, what it's doing to us over centuries, or what it's doing to us because everything's so new so fast. And we started throwing this shit in our water without any real thought, and like it's like lead pipes. Like we never thought that was an issue. We never thought that was going to be an issue where we're fucking microdosing on lead every day to a point to where it starts to actually kill us. Like, why do we think cancer is on the rise? Why do we think that all these issues, mental issues, are on the fucking rise? Like, there's got to be a reason, right? Like, there's got to be a reason why there's more diagnosed mental issues now than there were back in the 50s. Now, granted, they were throwing people into fucking mental institutions for being gay or for, not following their husband's orders. But really, as we've medically become more knowledgeable, and they've started throwing new terms around, and they started and all these issues start popping up out of nowhere. Like, this is why our boomer grandparents are like, well, back in our day, we never had this shit go on yet, because there's something happening. Something is happening. It's not just our victim mentality as, newer generations. I mean, maybe part of it, but there's something happening that we are starting to see long-term effects of some kind of poisoning. I mean, it's gotta be something obvious. Like it's the thing, 100 years ago, we were smoking cigarettes, thought they were healthy. Then we realized they're not. Lead pipes, we thought they were safe to use. Then we realized they're not. We will see this enlightenment later on. When the studies come out, when the tests come out, we're going to see that, hey, something's happening that all fucked us up and turned us into Gatorade watering our fields kind of stupid. Watch Idiocracy, the movie. That's where that comes from. But watch Idiocracy and then compare it to what we see now in the media and the way that things are going, and you'll see a lot of similarities that you really don't want to see right now. But that's just the way we're going, dude. And we need to figure that out. We need to come together as a people. We need to stop thinking that color separates us by anything other than how our ancestral, how our native people, the areas that we grew up from. Right? That's all it is. We've already seen that scientifically. The melanin. It's the way that there are certain types of white people that can withstand crazy amounts of cold because of the region that their ancestry is from. The reason that certain melanin content can withstand heat very well. I don't know, man. I really do think we need to come together as a human race. And I really think we need to stop thinking left or right. I just think we need the truth. And the truth is so hard to come by nowadays. You never know what's real. You never know what's fake. You never know what's AI. AI is a massive problem. I mean, I'm seeing AI clips now that if I didn't know better, if I didn't know the signs that it was AI, dude, I'd be just as bad at, there's no way that we'll be able to tell what's real and what's not with AI in another 10 years. It's already extremely realistic, dude. And we have no regulations on AI right now. Who's to say people aren't going to make, fake news stories with AI? Because at the end of the day, you get paid for views, you get paid for content. I mean, It's how these people stay rich, right? We've made our own worst enemy, and eventually it's going to fall. Eventually we're going to be one of those countries that they talk about in the history books that had everything and lost everything. Because we can't move past all the fake bullshit they're putting out, because we are getting controlled by their narratives. I mean, I refuse to be controlled by that. I refuse to keep a closed mind. I want to be an open mind. I want to hear both sides. I change my algorithm on TikTok, on X. I change it. One week I'm looking at the Republican side of things. The other week I spend some time switching up to the Democratic side of things. It aggravates me to see both sides. God, it's aggravating. Man, do I want to sit there and defend, because I see, and the thing is like, I'll see the truth, because I'll fact check in between going to these both sides. I'll see the truth, and then I'm on either side defending it. You know, it's like with the most recent Charlie Kirk thing, it's like them taking all of Charlie Kirk's quotes out of context. They don't understand the logical sense of what he was trying to say. And man, it made me really look like a MAGA Republican, but I was not. It's just like, dude, you're not listening. You're not actually using your brain, dude. You're just doing what everybody else told you to do. So we need to get critically thinking as a human race again. Start using our brains. Stop trusting the media, because the media cannot be trusted. We need to start looking into who's the real perpetrator of these events. Who's really behind these events. We need to start looking into the mental health behind these events. You know, how many of these kids that are shooting schools are on some kind of antidepressant or having mental issues? I guarantee you it's a large percent. Why isn't that being addressed? Why is it guns? Why is it a tool, an inanimate object that's being the issue, and not the massive amount of mental health issues that are going on right now? So that's what makes me curious. Like, why are we pushing that narrative so hard when it's pretty obvious that mental health is our main issue? To me, that just points out to, like, they don't want us to think about that. Who's they? You decide. But this is my little rant for that. Okay? None of my podcast is not going to be a political podcast. Right? This is an adventure podcast. This is about me and my life and our life, and that's how it has affected my life. Is it does take me away from enjoying my life a little bit when I have to see this and I have to think this stuff. And this is not to campaign for either side to say, hey, you guys need to take action. This is for everybody. You guys need to unite. We really need to stop doing this, fighting against each other, because it's just going to do what they want us to do. We're not achieving anything at this point. Except greater divide, civil war. And once we've depleted our numbers, and they push that gun reform bill, and then the media silence bill, they're going to start pushing all this stuff because, man, it's so dangerous. We can't let people think. Can't let people defend themselves now because it's dangerous. It's bad for our country. Now we have no guns. Can't defend ourselves. Now the media is being controlled in front of our eyes, and we can't defend that because we don't have any guns, because we can't actually resist our government. Why is the government so scared of us? You say, whoa, the government's got bombs and stealth fighters and this and that. They also have rules of engagement, very clear rules of engagement, that they cannot fight on their own turf and just unleash fucking bombs like that and kill civilians without that getting around. You know what I mean? So When we're fighting against our own government, they're quite literally have their hands tied behind their backs. That's why it was so easy to storm the Capitol, and they don't want that to be public, public knowledge and thinking. Like, we don't want it to be so easy. We don't want the public to think it's so easy to overthrow our government. That was pretty damn easy. It was a handful of people, and none of them were, like, seriously armed. Now imagine. I'm not saying, you know what, no, I'm not even going to go there, because I'm not going to get thrown onto an FBI watch list for just talking about it and trying to create dialogue. But I'm just saying, like, most of those people were unarmed. All they did was rush it at the same time. So, we need to get together. I think that was a wake-up call for the government. I think these political assassinations, I think Charlie Kirk, I think that should be a wake-up call for everyone. Someone is trying to target our free speech. Someone is trying to target our guns control. There's something else going on. There's a massive mental health epidemic. We need to get this stuff figured out, and our governments aren't going to figure it out for us. They've proven that a lot of them don't have the right end goals that align with ours. So we need to do it ourselves, right? Thanks for listening in, guys. Like I said, you don't even have to listen to this. This is just me ranting. I wanted to put it out there. You may not agree with everything I said, and I might not agree with you. You might think that transgender is a real thing. You might think that it's not a mental issue. You might think that gun control is a real issue. And guess what, guys? You're all entitled to your opinion. And I absolutely love you as a human either way. They're not going to separate me from you like that. You know what I mean? Like, you could be a Democrat. You can even be a libertarian, which have real bad press right now. Like, and I don't love the idea of that. I don't love the idea of, like, the stinky libertarian. But, like, I don't hate you. I'll never hate you. I never wish death upon you or your family. And I hope you have a happy, happy life. Genuinely. I hope everybody has a happy life. And whatever that means for you, whatever your definition of a happy life is, I hope you achieve it. I hope that we can all live on this world together, enjoy the little time we have, the little speck of life that we've been given. And I hope we can figure this shit out together. Right? I don't want to make this, like I said, this isn't going to be a political podcast. If I get requests from people that want to hear more about my take on things, maybe. But this won't be a majority political. This is for my adventures. This is for the fun. This is for my family, for us going out, It isn't, and maybe I'll make a political podcast if people really want to hear it. Maybe I'll separate from this and do that too. But this is just me ranting. And this is a very long one because I've been holding this in for a while. Been really, trying to think about how I actually feel about this. And ADHD, it's really hard to orchestrate your thoughts and keep them in one place, So, you guys have a great day. If you believe in a God, have a blessed day. I hope everything goes well. I hope your cookies are warm. I hope they're soggy in the middle. I hope they're crispy on the outside. I hope your coffee's just the right temp with just the right cream, just the right sugar. I hope your glass is clean. Your pillow sides are cold. I hope everything runs well. And I hope you guys have a good day. And I hope you guys can spread the love and stop spreading the hate and the fear. No matter what your beliefs are. Because other humans aren't really your enemy. It's the people controlling those humans behind the controllers, We really need to come together as a people. Love you guys. Good luck.